Hello everybody and welcome back to Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson, and today we are in our hallway here in our apartment and I have a few jobs I need to get done in my plant terrarium, but before I get to that I need to put myself a nice white shelf above so that I can have some plants out here so that I can extend the green all the way up to the ceiling out here in our hallway where it's quite white, as you can see. And we have this beautiful terrarium as the focal point for all the rooms in the apartment at the moment, and it's wonderful, but I haven't done anything with it for a while, and it needs working on, and it needs new plants in it, and it needs some things maybe taking out. So I have a whole lot of things to do, but the first thing I want to do now is concentrate on getting the shelf put up, because then I can put on the shelf the plants that I'm going to be putting into my aquarium that I already have here around about in the apartment. And then I can show you those, and then I can get on to rearranging the terrarium itself. So the shelf I'm going to be putting up, you've seen me do this in another video, is this. This is it. It's called a lac shelf. You can get these in IKEA, and they look like this. White floating shelves where you can't see the support. This is going to look, as you can see, beautiful above my terrarium here with plants and just high enough so that I can open the lid all the way up, but then I can have plants growing all the way up to the ceiling. So I just need to get on and do this, and then we can get on with the terrarium. So in order to put this shelf up, we need a few tools. I know that this shelf is 110 centimeters long, so I need to get my measuring tape, measure out 110 centimeters, get a pencil, and then mark out where I want my shelf to be roughly. Now I need to make sure the shelf is obviously higher than the terrarium lid so that I can open and shut it and work with the terrarium with no problem, and then have the shelf above. So we'll open this first so I can see the amount of space I have. If I put it all the way up, then I definitely know I'm going to have enough space. So then I want to work out my 110 centimeters. So I can get a rough guesstimate of how much distance I have from both sides of the wall. So if I do this and say that's quite enough height, right, to work underneath. So one mark there, and then this is not easy, people, but it's my lazy way of doing it, basically. Then here. So, I can put the lid back down now, I don't need that open. So, I've basically marked out, the edge of my wall is actually there. The first thing I've done is marked out how long the shelf is, 110 centimeters. Now I want to measure the space between both ends, between that door and this door, so that I get it symmetrical on the wall. That's important, because otherwise, when I'm sitting here or when I'm looking at it, I'll be like, oh, the shelf is a bit crooked. No, it's got to be symmetrical. So now, let's just do a little measure here. This size says exactly 16 centimeters. Now let's have a look at this side and see what this side says. Oh, wow. 16 centimeters. I got it right. Boom, just like that, just using my eyes. That's really good. So now, as far as I have remembered, from the point of the end of the shelf to where the support in the middle is around 24 centimeters. So if I mark that first on the one side, then I can put the frame, the inner frame up, I should be able to mark the other end, should have the same distance, and then I found my center point. 24. So we just make a rough mark at 24, which is here. So now I've made a rough mark at where 24 centimetres from the end of the shelf is. I can put this up and then mark the other side, and it should also be 24 centimetres roughly from the other end as well. Then I have my centre point. So let's see if we have the 24 centimetres as we predicted on the other side. Yes, it couldn't be better. 24. Yes! So, I've got my centre point. That went quite quick. So now I'm ready to put this up against the wall, get my water measurer and mark out the holes where I want this to be. And the height and the distance and everything else. So I put it around here. Now I've definitely got enough space from my terrarium. Put the water measurer above and try and work out your level. So there's the water measurer. It's a bit difficult to do this. Now look at that. That is showing me a level reading. The little bubble is in between the two black lines, so I know that this is as level as I can get it for now. And I can mark out where I'm going to be putting the first screws to hold it in place. Just mark out a few because I can choose whatever one I want then. So that was it marked out. Now I've got my trusty screwdriver, my electric screwdriver. And so for this, I'm using some screws that are 5mm in their width and 30mm in length. And I think they're absolutely fine for this wall. This is, as you can hear, a thin wall. It's not concrete, so I can just drill the shelf straight into the wall. Simple. So let's get screwing. I'll use the top of the terrarium as a support as I put the first screw in. And in we go. So the first screw is in now, not too tight, because you need to be able to leverage it around until you get it in place. So now the other side, and then I will check with the water measurer that it is still level. So now the inner support is in place. Now I just want to check and make sure it's level. That is perfectly level. So now I know I can just go on screwing all the screws in and get this shelf up. Last one. And there we have it. Wow, that is so strong I can near enough swing from it, but I don't dare to try. So now that the support is up, I'm ready to slide my shelf into place and then screw in the supports for the shelf, and then it's ready to put plants on. Moment of truth. Sometimes it's hard to get these in the hole straight away, but oh no, today it just wanted to work for me. So that is just wonderful. It's worked out quick and easy. Looks fantastic above the terrarium. Now I'll be able to extend this green from the terrarium all the way up to this shelf, all the way up to the ceiling with time. So now I need to be a little bit higher up for a minute so that I can put these screws into the top so that this shelf cannot slide away from the support. Now for the next one. And well, that's it. I'm all done. My shelf is up and it is ready to have some beautiful plants on it. So now I'm just going to find those plants that I'm going to be using to pep up my terrarium that needs a really good sorting out at the moment. And another reason for why I'm doing this is because I have so many wonderful new plants and new plants coming. I have a huge collection of philodendrons and I need space for all those plants. So I want to put some of the plants that I know that will do well in a terrarium that I've already collected and I still love and I still want. I want to put them in here and create a beautiful little jungle. So let me just go and get those and you can see them on this shelf. So now I have found some of my beautiful peperomias that I have in my peperomia collection that I want to integrate into my houseplant terrarium. And I really hope that this is going to work out because I've had some casualties and now I need to put some new plants in there. So I just want to quickly show you the different plants that I'm going to be integrating into my beautiful houseplant terrarium. The first one I have here is called Peperomia Orba Pixie Lime. Beautiful plant like that. I want to put this in there. It's growing fine, it's growing well, but it does keep losing leaves. So I'm wondering if I put it in the terrarium, if it will help it to keep its leaves, keep the amount of moisture and humidity that it needs to thrive and grow. But otherwise, it does look really good. It's looking really fine. It's got beautiful leaves with a darker green patterning in them, if you can see that close enough. Has a darker, tiny little green veinings in it, but otherwise it's a lovely lime colour. So this is the beautiful Peperomia Orba Pixie Lime. That's going to be going in there. Before I put that back down, I'm going to bring forth my beautiful, and I absolutely love the colour on this. This plant is just wonderful. It's got such beautiful, intricate details in its variegation, and every leaf is unique, and there's so much going on, and they're really beautiful. They're very kind of waxy. They're very thick leaves. It's an absolutely beautiful plant. And this beautiful plant is called Peperomia obtusifolia variegata. And I'm hoping that this is going to do wonderfully well in your terrarium because it's got very thick leaves. It's got a very nice waxy layering to it. So it will be protected and it will have the moisture in there. And I just think it's going to thrive. So this is absolutely beautiful. That's going to be a wonderful addition in there. So now I've shown these two, I can actually put them up on the shelf just to show you how the shelf looks with plants on it before we carry on. So now, the next one is this beautiful little plant here. Look at the leaves on that. Absolutely gorgeous colouring. It's just a beautiful plant with this silver colouring and the burgundy. I absolutely love it. That is really kind of unusual. This also has nice thick coating of like a waxy coating on the leaves. They're very lush, they're very full, they're very solid. It's very happy. I'm going to put this in there too. I hope it's going to do really well. This is called Peperomia Napoli Night. And I just hope that this will be nice down somewhere near the front and fill out there and carry on being happy, basically. So that's absolutely wonderful. So we can put that up on the shelf now too, for now. So the next beauty I have to show you is this beautiful plant here. Look at the size of the leaves. Look at the size compared to my face. Now that is one big leaf on a peperomia, isn't it? This is the beautiful Peperomia argyrea, otherwise known as the watermelon peperomia, and you can see why. It looks like a watermelon, doesn't it? This beautiful plant is doing well for me too. Lots of new buds coming out of the middle. I can see there are 2 full plants in here. So I can see how much of this I need to fill out an area in the terrarium as well. Absolutely wonderful. Look at the beautiful, again, silvery colour and the green colour in the leaves, and then these lovely burgundy stems. Now, you've got to look at this closer. Look at this. And then you can see the beautiful burgundy stems underneath there to give a completely beautiful contrast to the leaves. And again, gives you that kind of watermelon feeling, because inside the watermelon, it's this red, right? This red colour, juicy red. And then outside it has this beautiful striking stripy texture. So that is just a wonderful plant, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful in my terrarium. So let's put this one up on the shelf as well. Put this one here in the middle more maybe. So now you can see how my beautiful shelf works above the terrarium here. Looks absolutely wonderful. But at the moment, I don't know what plants, specific plants I'm going to be having above here. If I'm going to be having plants that are all going to have stakes and grow up, like philodendrons, or if I'm going to have some kind of larger statement plant that can act like a kind of tree canopy, and then maybe some smaller ones by the side. I'm not quite sure yet how I want to work out with this shelf. I just want to show you what it looks like with the plants that I'm going to be rearranging to use in the terrarium here for now. So that's all I have for you for this video. We can kind of call this part A of a two-part video because now I've shown you the shelf and the plants that I'm going to be putting in the terrarium, and then in the next video I will be pulling down these plants from the shelf and then integrating them into the terrarium. So all that's left for me to say is thank you once again for watching Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video upload will be. And I will see you in the next video very, very soon. Goodbye.